So, this is another Patreon request, and this one comes from Captain Omni, who asked me to do a Owl House Conan the Barbarian crossover. So, this one's going to be fun, because I kind of have done already... I kind of already did a Conan... yeah, I did kind of do a Conan... I've already done a Conan Owl House crossover in the past. Although it did kind of feature Hell of a Boss, but only like one character, and it was Stolas, so I kind of put it in there. But this time around, Captain Omni asked me to do this crossover. So, yeah. Now, this story is going to be interesting in that we're not going to have Luz or Amity or anything like that. This is a Conan who is... younger. This version of Conan is going to be like in his younger years. Not like a child, but more like, I would say, during his slave days. So, in this story, or a little after his slave days, like I would say like these are his early, like a lost early adventure with Conan. So, Conan is basically out at a temple, attempting to rob the treasures within it. He went with a party of others, but they've all been killed by the monsters within the temple until he finally finds his prize. However, his prize is snatched away from him because it was this medallion that came supposedly from another world. And essentially, it was stolen by a certain sorcerer by the name of Kulan Gath. So Kulan Gath has stolen this amulet, and he attempts to take it away. Conan, who's only battled him a few times, is like, "This time I kill you for real, sorcerer," and attempts to slay Kulan, but ends up striking the medallion. The two Conan gets thrown into the world of the Boiling Isles. It turns out that the medallion did come from the Boiling Isles ages ago, and it was put there by a witch. It was put there by a witch who actually created the door to the doorway to Earth. It was actually one of Ida's ancestors. It was one of Ida's ancestors of the Clawthorn family who helped to create the door to the to other worlds. But this one was sent to Hyboria. And from there, that Clawthorn learned the magic, Hyborian magic, and brought it to teach the other wild witches. Now this is also a time period when Philip Witterbane is basically his rise to power. This is Emperor Belos's early years into his reign as the leader of the Boiling Isles and the Speaker of the Titan, and he is basically still hunting down wild witches and forcing them to go into covens. Now, Conan at this point, already, as you guys know, Conan has no love for... Conan the Barbarian has no love for magic and whatnot, and he has no love for monsters either. And he has now been thrown into a world of monsters and another world of monsters and magic, and he's like, will this madness ever leave? Like, will it ever stop hunting me? Blasted... blasted magic. Now, of course, Kulan has been sent to this world too. Kulan Gath is also been sent to this dark realm as well. So now Kulan Gath is now here and has already found his way to Emperor Belos. And Belos at first is like, you're some kind of wild witch, I don't trust you. And Gath goes, "Oh, but I know a charlatan when I see one. Speaking from experience, I know a charlatan when I see one, and you could learn so much from me." And Belos is like, "Go on." So Gath and Belos are now working together. Meanwhile, Conan is just going around looking for food or whatever and stealing, because a lot of people forget that Conan is also like a thief. A lot of people tend to forget that he's also a master thief. Everyone just kind of thinks of Conan the Barbarian as some big, dumb, bruiser or whatever, but no, he's actually quite intelligent and quite the thief as well. So Conan is basically just going around collecting, like, all these gems, collecting and stealing for food and grog, even though he does, like, he goes to a local tavern and, like, drinks some of the grog there, and he's like, there's eyes in my grog. He's like, yeah, and the bartender's like, yeah, man, that's what it is, like, that's what you ordered. Grog is made of grog, and grog's a type of animal in this version of the Boiling Isles. Like, yeah, grog. And he's like, okay. And he just downs it anyway, and he's like, now like, Conan is curious about getting home, but he's also like, if I'm here, I'm gonna, like, drink grog, steal money, plunder treasures, kill some people, and also fuck some bitches. And Conan, like, people already, like, know that he's human. Like, Conan would be one of the first humans that ever came to the Boiling Isles, and everyone is like, oh, he's human. And some people, like, some larger demons try to, like, pester Conan to be like, beat it, human, you're not welcome on the Boiling Isles. And Conan's like, I'll do as I please, leave. And they're like, maybe you didn't hear me, round ears. And Conan proceeds to kill everyone who laid a hand on him in the bar. And this, of course, gets the attention of the Emperor's Coven. He battles them, he escapes, but this does basically the Emperor's Coven members who Conan didn't beat or kill to a bloody pulp. They come back and basically say, hey, so there's this human running around, and we don't know what the fuck that's about. And they're like, what do you mean? There's this weird human, he's got a big sword, and he's also really strong, and Kulan is like, that motherfucker, he made it here too, of course. So Gath is already like, damn it, fucking Conan's here, I gotta take him out. And Bellows is like, who's Conan? He's like, a pain in my ass, that's what he is. So Conan the Barbarian, so Bellows more or less puts on the whole thing of, oh, there is a dangerous human on the Boiling Isles that we must be wary of. His name is Conan, Conan of Crimea. So you be wary. The Titan says that he is a dangerous creature. And Conan is like, you got that right. At this point, Conan, while he's hiding out, like he's hiding on the Boiling Isles, he does come across a young Ida Clawthorn. Ida essentially is like a young child, and her curse, she hasn't been cursed yet, but she is kind of like still a troublemaker, and encounters Conan, and Conan is like, child, you best leave me alone. I do not care for the company of witches, even the young ones. And Ida's like, cool, then I'm just gonna stick around. And Conan is like, fuck. So Ida does help Conan escape, like, one time with the Emperor's Coven, and the two kind of strike up a friendship in a way, until Conan discovers, like, he hears the word, like, one of the Emperor's Coven guardsmen go, this Kulan Gath guy seems to have Emperor Bellows by the balls or something. Like, it's kind of embarrassing, and he's like, Gath here? I'm gonna have to teach him. I'm gonna have to kick his ass too. So with Ida's help, Conan breaks into the Emperor's palace and begins to fight his way through the Coven heads. Like, he just has to go. He starts fighting his way through the Coven heads left and right. Like, he encounters, like, the head of the Illusion Coven, and he's like, I'm not, I'll just swing my sword until I hit something. That's his whole thing, is, like, he just starts swinging his sword until he like, hits flesh, and then they're like, oh shit, fuck off, man. The head of the Healing Coven attempts to battle him, and Conan bites off 3 of her fingers, and so yeah, like, I had the canon is, like, now in this version is, like, she hides that glove, it has, like, 3 fake fingers under there because Conan bit 3 of them off in a fight. Eberwolf and him fight, and Conan's like, I've slain larger animals than you, and then Eberwolf just bites him in the fucking face, and he's like, ah, bloody foul beast! He fights Darius and sets him on fire because he's like, I've encountered glob-like creatures like you before, and you know what I've learned? What your kind doesn't like? Fire. And he just throws a torch. He just drops a torch on Darius in his abomination form. Then you have like the other ones, like Terra. He cuts his way through like just plants after plants, and even like tears his way out of a giant Venus flytrap that eats him. So yeah, until he eventually gets to Belos and Kulan. And Kulan at this point has been trying to double cross Belos. More or less is that Kulangath has learned about the draining spell and wants to use it, ahead of the Day of Unity, long before the Day of Unity, and not so much drain and kill everyone, but more like drain that magic from the Boiling Isles into him and become the most powerful being, and then go back to Hyboria to drain all the magic there. So Belos turns Conan on Kulan and and stops him. Like, he beheads Kulangath, and he's like, this time don't come back. But Conan is like, I know this guy's going to come back anyway. Because for those who are not in the know, Kulangath has come back from worse than a beheading. So there you go. So, yeah, there you go. There's my Conan Owl House crossover. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of it? I'd like to thank Captain Omni for this video. As always, if you would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon there, and hit the 4th tier. Other than that, I am Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.